When should you start shifting on the violin? I think that this question is so important for us adult beginners, especially if we're coming into the hobby with a list of pieces that we want to try in the future. So more advanced pieces. And certainly for me, I've had to think about this topic quite early on in my own journey because I felt conflicted whether or not I should start learning how to shift. You know, this conundrum of sticking to the curriculum that I was following at the time, or whether it's okay to indulge in the topic that I was interested in. In this video, I will try to answer this question in case you're in the same position and you're wondering whether or not you should start to learn how to shift in your first year of learning how to play. As always, if you are taking lessons, make sure that you're speaking to your teacher about this and expressing your interest, and hopefully there's going to be a mutual goal for you to be able to do this, and you can be supported in your lessons. I would say if you're able to play all the notes in first position with relative ease, and you're not having any issues with your violin setup, meaning your shoulder rest and your chin rest is a good fit for your body type, and you're able to hold the violin comfortably, and your bow hold looks good, then I don't see any reason why you can't start as soon as possible. But regardless of what I just said, I think ultimately it really boils down to one thing, and that is interest in learning about the topic. So I think if you're super interested in starting to learn about shifting concepts, then I think that's a good indication to start. There's no expectation for you to be able to do it right away, and so I don't see any harm in looking into it. In fact, I encourage you to do so because there are so many benefits, which I will talk about in just a minute. I'll give you 5 reasons why I think you should start as soon as possible. But the biggest reason why I think you should consider starting sooner rather than later is because it can take a really, really long time to fully grasp shifting concepts. I know for myself, it has taken a great deal of time to put things together and to learn how to navigate the fingerboard. And so, I think that it's okay to allow yourself to read about the subject as soon as possible. And watch videos around it so that it can prepare you for that moment when the inevitable comes and you have to shift outside of first position. I remember when I used to take piano lessons, I remember my teacher first introduced me to the instrument and gave me a little orientation. The thing that stood out to me the most at the beginning was the range of the piano, and she played the lowest notes to the highest notes, and with the piano it's so easy because you're able to see exactly where the notes are on the keyboard, but on the violin much of the notes are invisible, and so we have to find them by feel and by ear. So I think that the sooner we can get acquainted with the higher positions on the violin and get to know the notes up here, then I think it takes out a lot of the misery of learning how to play in higher positions along the way. So here are 5 reasons why I think you should start learning how to shift in your first year. Number 1, it's so good for ear training. Your intonation will improve so much because your ears will become more sensitive when you're finding the notes up in higher positions. Number 2, you'll become aware that the rules changes as you move into different positions. You'll have a variety of finger spacing patterns that will become available to you, and you'll notice that as you move from low position to a high position, that the distances between the notes become smaller and smaller until your fingers are almost stepping into one another. Number 3, it'll give you more notes to play with, which means more ways to add color and expression to your playing. Number 4, you'll start to release tension in the hand, and this is a big one, especially if you find yourself squeezing the neck of the violin. The action of shifting, which is to press down, release, and press again, really keeps the hand in check for tension. And number 5, your knowledge of the fingerboard will increase and more music is going to be available for you to play just by knowing a little bit more about fingerboard geography. If you want to hear my take on shifting, I have a whole video that I made a few years ago. I will link it down below. And I hope this video gave you something to think about, and if you've been playing for a while and have a few tips for us, then please leave them in the comments below. I look forward to reading them, and I will see you next time. Bye.